In this video, we're going to look at how we do our table of participant characteristics. So we're working from the same paper and data, and this is their table 1 of demographic characteristics, and we're going to look at how we generate those numbers. So first of all, sometimes people ask me, where's the button in SPSS that would generate this table for you? Now, unfortunately, there isn't one. You really need to make the table yourself. Although SPSS will output tables, and if you're very good at it, you can make it format them exactly how you want. In most cases, I would advise you to draw up your table first in Word, work out what numbers you want, and then use SPSS a bit more like a calculator to fill it in. So I've got Word open here on the side, so let's just go to Insert Table, and we'll just copy this one here. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. So 1, 7, and we're going to do the first couple of variables. So I'll just bring that down a bit. We can always add more in. I'm just going to turn those off. And if you want to, sometimes it's helpful to pick one of these. I don't know that I put any of these into a paper, but it can be helpful when you're looking at them. So we could look at age, and I've forgotten already what the paper had. It had gender first. All right, let's do that. And we'll do 2 columns, 1 for female. Oh, I'll just type this in here, male. I might shift them across a bit. So I'll let you go through formatting this table in Word, and what we want to do is use SPSS to generate some of these numbers. So let's have a look first at the total column, and what we want to do is just get the total count and percentage for gender. So back in SPSS, we're going to be using the Analyze tab and Descriptive Stats, and we're going to be working our way through each of these 4. So for this one, we want the frequencies, and you can see 1, 2, 3 that it's going to count. We want sex, so click on that. You can either double click it and it will pop across, or you can use the little arrow. And then just press OK. We can go through some of these options, but often it'll just give you what you want straight up, so it's worth checking. So we can see that we had 8 males, 40 females, and then it gives us some percentages. Now in this case, percent is the same as valid percent. If you had a lot of missing values, then you would want to use the valid percent column here. So if we have a look at the paper, 40 females and 8 males, 83.3% and 16.7%, so that matches. So you can go through and put that in your Word document. Next, we're going to have a look at age, and we are after, in this case, the mean and the standard deviation, and you can notice that they've also given us the min and the max. So if we go up to Analyze again, and it doesn't really matter which one you use, whether it's from the output viewer or the data viewer. Analyze, descriptives, and this time we want descriptives because age is a different type of variable to gender, and we don't want to count it. This time we want to get the mean and the standard deviation. So we're going to go in here, and again we'll put in the age and press OK. So we had a mean of 49, standard deviation of 10.7, and the min and the max. So again, if we have a look at our paper, that matches, and you can pop that into your table in Word. Next, what we want to have a look at is getting these values split by group. So we've got them here split by treatment and control group, and this way we can compare whether or not we think the groups are similar. So to split the output by group, we need the next 2 options in SPSS. So descriptive stats, and for gender we're going to want cross tabs. And if we have a look at how they've, I'll just get that out of the way. In the rows that's going across this way they have gender, so we'll put that in the rows. And then in the columns, they've split by group. We click OK. By default, it will give you the counts. And you'll notice that I haven't actually put labels in for my group. So that would be a good thing for you to go through and do in practice, is to put your labels in for treatment and control. Unfortunately, we can't tell which code is which based on this because the numbers are exactly the same. You can probably do it with one of the other variables. I'm going to take a guess that 0 is control and 1 is treatment. So it's possible your columns will come out reversed from what they have in the paper. Now you'll notice that we don't have any percentages here. So to get your percentages, you'll need to tick another option. So we're going to go to Analyze, Descriptives, Crosstabs, and Cells. Oh, I can't get that quite across. So it can calculate the percentages a few ways. It can do them out of the grand total. It can do them out of gender, so that would be out of all the males, what percentage were in the control group and what percentage were in the treatment group. Or it can do them out of the columns, and this is the most usual way of doing them. There would be reasons for doing it another way. We would want to say out of the treatment group what percentage were male, and out of the control group what percentage were male. So I'm going to tick column. Now you can of course just tick all of them, but then you've still got to work out which value you need. So we had 4 males, which is 16.7%. So if we go back to our table, that matches up. So you can copy that across into your Word document. Next, we're going to have a look at age. So for this one, we'll go to Analyze, Descriptive Stats, Explore. The top box is the one that we're interested in. It's called the dependent variable. So we're going to put age in there. The factor list means the groups that you want to split it by. So you're the variable that you're interested in at the top, and then the groups that you want in the second box. So I'm going to go group and in. Now it will do some plots for you automatically as well, but we'll do graphs in another video. Click OK. Now we get a little summary up the top of the number of cases, and then we get a whole lot of descriptive stats in here. Now this is one of the reasons why you generally wouldn't cut and paste tables from SPSS into a report, is that there's just a little bit too much information in here. What we want out of here is the mean age, which is here, and the standard deviation. So for group 0, now this is where there is a little bit different, so we will be able to see which is 0 and which is 0. So we had a mean age of 49.58 for 0, so 0 is the control, and the standard deviation is here, 8.7. So 0 is your control and 1 is your treatment. And hopefully through all of that you've managed to recreate the this part of the table. Oh, the min and the max, that should be there as well. Yep. So the last thing I'll just mention about SPSS is that if you've put in a whole lot of time into checking that this is coded properly, and I'll put in 0 is control and 1 is treatment, please make sure you save it. So there's 2 files open. This one is your data file. You just need to go to save. And this literally just saves this data here that you can see in the variable view on the data view. It does not save any of your output. If I bring up the output file again, this is actually a separate file. So you can save this one as well. And this one will have the extension SPO for spool document. And this one, the actual data, will have the extension .sav. Occasionally I do see people who have thought that they've saved their data, but they've actually just saved their output, and they've lost a whole lot of work that they put into their data. So once you have your data set up, I would strongly recommend that you save your data. The output is possibly less important because it's quite easy in most cases to generate it again, but sometimes you put a lot of work into something and you want to keep that output, so you can save that file as well, or cut and paste stuff as you need it into Word, so I can actually copy that and stick that into Word, and then I've got that there if I need to come back later and just double check the numbers I've put in my table.